Stop, listen, and ask yourself, have you ever pondered at the idea that there may be something to the other side? If so, and you're hearing my voice for the first time, then you may have just fallen into the void.
This is Amy in Colorado Springs, Colorado, and I'm falling with G-Man into the void.
Well, hey there, hello there, and welcome back to a very special homecoming episode of Into the Void, the podcast that talks about anything and everything paranormal. I am your proud black man and ghost host with the most, G-Man, letting you know that we are back and ready to go here at Undercity Comics in beautiful Whittier, California. That's right, listener, we are back in studio, and before I go any further, I would really like to say thank you to the Into the Void team for all the hard work that they have been putting to help keep this show going. We have such an amazing team, and I am truly honored and humbled to be working with each and every one of them. Speaking of gratefulness, a big thank you to you, listener, for tuning in and continuing to fall with us. Since we started this show, we have slowly been building an audience and fan base, and I must say, I never saw this coming. So thank you for tuning in, telling your friends and family about this show, and please keep getting the word out about this podcast, because now that we're back in studio, we have a whole lot lined up for you, and we wouldn't want you to miss a spooky thing. Well, listener, I'm sure you're just as excited as I am to get this homecoming episode underway, and what better way to start it off by introducing a word from our sponsor. Looking for quality Viking apparel inspired by the Norse gods of old? Well, there's only one place you can be sure to find the gear you're searching for: VikingJeans.com. Unlike other Viking-themed retailers, Viking Jeans supplies handcrafted jewelry, watches, home decor, and apparel. They even forge and engrave steel axes. Viking Jeans is sure to have something to satisfy your fascination towards Norse mythology. Be sure to visit VikingJeans.com. That's VikingJeans.com. And now, bats and ghouls, please give a warm welcome to the man who can do it all. And by that, I mean he is an employee here at Undercity Comics and runs the sound for many podcasts, but we love him mainly on ours. Bats and ghouls, you know him, you love him. It's the one, the only, Rene, I never freeze. Bravo!
I like that one. Thank you for having me back. It's good to be back here on the show, man.
How's it going, man?
It's been some time, hasn't it?
It is. Oh, my gosh.
That was good.
Did you like that one?
I love that introduction. That's my favorite one so far.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, Rene, I know we're going to get into this, but I just want to bring this up real quick. Yeah. You started a new podcast.
I actually have. Now, this is not a podcast that I'm just starring in. It's not a podcast I'm just appearing. It's actually my podcast. I've actually done. Okay. It's called Keeping Up with the Nerds Variety Hour.
Ooh, I like that title.
Yeah, basically, yeah. That's what me and my friends were like. You know what? Let's just make it long. That way people know and stuff what it is and stuff. Basically, we like to call it's like nerd potpourri, where we just talk about random nerd stuff happening in the world and stuff like that.
I like the way you put that, nerd potpourri.
Yeah. That was actually going to be the name, but then we're like, no, let's not do that. But that's what we're about.
Okay. So awesome. Yeah. And now, I am pleased to announce that the person I'm about to introduce is officially making his stay on this show. Now, we mentioned back in episode 3 that he wanted to be called by another name. And well, ladies and germs, we are honoring that request. Please welcome a man who makes the ghouls drool and monsters mash. A man who looks the paranormal in the eye and says, first one to blink loses. Bats and ghouls, please welcome back to the show, and here to stay, the one, the only, the strange one.
Hey, everybody. Good to be back. How's it going?
What's going on, strange one?
Man.
You know, life.
Well, gentlemen, welcome back. This is fantastic. I'm so glad that we're back here in the studio.
Yeah, same here, man.
This is amazing. Yeah. And of course,
I feel like I can breathe.
Right? Yeah. So I got to ask, I mean, obviously with this whole pandemic and everything going on, the one thing I wanted to ask was, how was your quarantine like? Like, what was that like? I mean, I know, Rene, you said you guys were closed for a while.
Yeah, we were closed here for just about 2 months. That was because our distributor had to shut down because where they were located at. So that meant no new comic books coming in. So we had to shut down for just a little bit. It was like reaching 2 months, a little under 2 months. So we opened up again in May 20th, and now we're here basically a month later now, which is good.
Now, with the fact that you guys were closed for 2 months, how did that affect business-wise?
So it didn't affect it too bad. Sue, the owner here at Undercity Comics, did a great job of doing online orders if you wanted to still get comic books that you were looking for. Nothing new per se, but she was still willing to do online orders. She will send them out to you for a flat ship rate and stuff like that. So she did pretty good.
Fantastic.
She kept it going, which is good.
Yeah.
Be good to buy in bulk at that point.
Yeah.
Make it worth it.
Yeah, because people are going to stay home. They want to read and stuff like that.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Like, and I can get through, 5, 6, 10 comic books in a day.
Yeah.
Probably more if I'm not doing anything.
Right, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I got things to do in the day.
I mean, I would love to be able to sit down and say, yes, I was able to read all my comic books and, get a bunch of reading done and more stuff for the show. But I got 2 kids, so, I got to put full focus on them and entertain them and come up with a new adventure every single day before, I do work on my stuff. But, that's insane. Strange one, I got to ask you.
Yes, you do.
Now, I know for a fact that you were also still working during quarantine.
Yeah.
But during the times that you had your downtime, did you happen to find any new skills or new hobbies during the quarantine, or did you just kind of let the days pass through during quarantine time?
I've been so busy, working. In conversation to you, I was telling you probably about 21 hours a day, basically.
Oh, wow.
Because our accounts that I happen to help and assist with, they stretch all the way out to the East Coast, so I can get calls as early as 4 o'clock in the morning, being 7 o'clock over there. So I've been just crushing the day. At the end of the day, I'm just out on the couch, just trying to relax, have dinner, and that's about it. But I can say, as far as discovering things, I have been noticing a little goings on in my condo. So
now, by going on, you mean
something of our paranormal persuasion.
Well, now,
Wow.
what the hell? Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry, I don't know what that was right there. That was really weird. Well, we were talking earlier. We were talking about Boy Meets World and when Eric meets Feeny, and we were just like,
hey,
yeah.
Feeny. He's everywhere.
So you were saying, Strange One, that there is some paranormal activity going on in your home.
Yeah, it's very it's very mild. No poltergeist activity from what I've been able to notice so far on my own. I had timed it. I had to kind of figure out when this is happening. But around 5, 6 o'clock, I was noticing an odd sound. Be quiet. Say I'm like in my my closet, and I can hear it. It sounds like a marble falling onto a table. It bounces a couple times, and then that roll at the end of it. And that's it. That was the first thing I had noticed. But it happened every couple of days. I noticed it. The same exact sound. And if it was something else, if it was just, say a neighbor dropping something, the sound would change.
Right.
It would be a completely different sound, or the bounce would be different because of different, drops, whatever.
Right, absolutely.
It's a different sound. It's very hard to recreate the same exact sound on the daily with the same object. It's just very difficult to try to get. So I was hearing this little marble drop, and I could not find out where it was coming from. And it was somewhere between where my closet is to my dining area and my bathroom. 3 different rooms. They're all adjacent, but it's right in that area, and I could always hear it. And I had a friend over, and I had come back from being outside, and he said, "Hey, I finally heard what you were talking about." He said, and he freaked out. He thought that I was just hearing things. He just blew it off. But he said, "Dude, I heard it, and I freaked out. I creeped out because I was like, I know exactly what he's talking about now."
So let me just back this up real quick here. So you were outside, and your friend was inside your place.
Yeah.
and they heard the exact sound that you've been hearing.
Yeah, he said it's exactly how you described it. Like if a marble or something dropped on a table or the floor, and you hear it bounce and then just like slow, like roll off.
Like rolls away. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I heard that, and it gave me the chills. Like it creeped me out, is what he tells me. And it's like, you see, so I'm not crazy. Like I know it. Like, and I'm very skeptical. You know, us being in this show, I don't right away say things. Oh, that's paranormal right off the bat.
Yeah.
You know, I at least try to debunk it and make sure that I'm, what I'm experiencing is in fact, a paranormal activity.
You're looking to see that everything has an explanation before you can deem it to be paranormal.
Exactly.
Got it.
That's fair. Yeah.
So so I try to be more skeptical than not in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then I was telling you earlier as well in our conversations that we had before the show that I had noticed. So see, I'm just relaxing on the couch, nothing's playing. A shadow, just a quick shadow, something like moved past my eye. Right? And it's not a bug, it's not a fly.
Yeah.
It's just so quick. It's like a blink, and it's gone, and you have no idea what it is. But I noticed it more and more, and for a while it wasn't so predominant. I didn't see it very often. However, I did notice it a couple of times in this past week, just laying down. And I keep my blinds closed, so there's no outside light coming in. I like to keep myself privatized in my own home, watch a movie. And so I had the light on, and no one else is here. It's just me. And off the corner, there's a quick, like that little flash, like. Again, it has to be a shadow because there's light, and I'm on the couch. The light is behind the couch. There's nothing there. There's no one there to be able to pass, and create a shadow, say, across my blind.
So there's not enough space back there to be able for anyone, really, like a human being, to walk by.
Oh no, there's plenty of space. There's just nobody else there.
Oh, okay.
It's just me alone, right? So, I try to debunk everything. I think, okay, maybe it was just I blinked and I saw it, but no, it's too frequent. That this happens, and it can be in my living room. It could be when I'm in the kitchen. I will see something quickly, past me, like just an instant, too quick for me to even try to do a double take and see what it was. It's there and it's not. And across my coffee table, sometimes I'll see like something at the edge, just in the corner of my eye, and then it just pulls away. Like if you had a towel there, say you had a towel or a napkin, and it falls off, but quick. It's just a matter of a blink. It's there and it's not. Now again, I try to be skeptical about it, and I don't quickly assume, okay, there's something in this place.
Right.
But I've had enough experience to know that there is something there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny when you mention that too, because I keep thinking about how we're going to be doing the Shadow People episode coming up, and everything that you talk about here, I find it to be so fascinating because, there's all these experiences of shadow people. And I think it's quite interesting that you're experiencing little things here and there too.
That's actually what gave me the idea of doing the shadow episode when I first talked to you.
Right, that's right.
Because I have seen things throughout my life, like if someone was there following me just in the corner of my eye, and I quickly looked to see who's behind me, and there's nobody there.
Yeah.
So that drew my interest into the idea, and I was like, let's do a shadow episode. And I think that, as I mentioned to you, it's going to be more than just a single part. It has to be. I want to get into not just my experiences, but even yours, listener. If you have any experience with shadow people, please let us know. I'd love to incorporate it, and we can have a discussion. And it'd be great information for us to utilize on this show.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, and besides that, also alternative theories, because again, I like to debunk. So I try to use science and everything, the alternate theories of who or what shadow people are, and even the more popular shadow people that I'd be interested in following up on and seeing what we have experienced regarding these.
Yeah.
And I guess a bit of a teaser to you, listener. I want to get into as well a conversation about the infamous Hat Man.
Ah, yes. The infamous Hat Man. The story, the legend, the myth of scariness.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, yes. So you have been having your own personal paranormal experiences, strange one. And I got to say, I have been having my own personal paranormal experiences in my home. And it's really kind of odd, actually, Rene, because at first I thought, well, we did the Black Eyed Children episode.
Yeah.
And I remember telling you guys, especially listener, go back to season 1, and we talk about the Black Eyed Children.
Episode 9.
Episode 9, that's right. And it got creepy. It did. The
yeah.
more involved and the more I acknowledge the fact that this is a real thing that is happening to people, the more of a feeling I started getting, like somebody's watching me or somebody's, observing what I'm doing. Or I kept fearing that one night where it was lightning and thunder and raining outside, and I kept thinking someone's going to be at the door. And lo and behold, I take a shower and the doorbell rings.
No way.
And nobody was there when I answered it. Now, I lucked out. It turns out it was my neighbor. Yes, turns out it was my neighbor. They came by because I think they wanted like a cup of milk or something. But
the timing of it.
the timing was just way too good.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, once again, I have immersed myself into the world of the paranormal, and I'm really getting into everything and getting down to the nitty-gritty of it, to the point where things have started to happen in my home. Now, the first incident would be the front room. In the front room, we have this little mannequin, Woody, little Funko Pop Woody doll.
Yeah.
And let's just say that one night, it was on the shelf. Next thing I know, within seconds, it fell over. Now, this thing is more top-heavy. So I imagine that's what happened, is that it was just top-heavy, plus due to vibrations in the house.
Yeah.
And strange when you've been in my house, so you know what my house is like.
Yeah.
But there was an incident where a strange one was there. And that is, let me backtrack here. I was at my sink doing some dishes, and I figured the sponge had fallen down because I left the water on. So I kept thinking to myself, well, that's my grandmother. She's just reminding me that, hey, you're leaving the water on, turn it off.
Yeah.
And by doing that, she got my attention by knocking over the sponge. It wasn't until Strange One was over, and we were hanging out in the afternoon, I believe.
Yep, it was about 4 o'clock, between 3 and 4.
3 and 4. And we heard this sound come from my sink. And what did you say, Strange One? It sounded like maybe like metal on metal,
Yeah,
or like
it sounded like if something shifted, like
Yeah.
if a metal pot just shifted against the metal sink.
it was the weirdest noise too, and it wasn't the kind of noise where you're like, oh, that's nothing. Like, it made him and myself question and turn around to see what exactly that was all about.
Yeah.
So that's when I walk over, and I of course, like I said, first thing I do is try to debunk and find out where the sound comes from. So there's still a couple of dishes in there, but they were all plastic, or I think there was one that was a ceramic. There was like nothing metal. But I started tapping things to see, what was similar to that sound.
Something had to make that sound.
Yeah, something had to make that sound. But I started tapping everything against the pan. I tapped. There was I think there was still a pot that you had macaroni and cheese for the kids on the stove, and I thought maybe like something shifted, and so I shifted that around. I tapped it. Nothing else had that sound.
Nothing matched.
I mean,
Nothing was
I
similar
even
to
had
that
the
sound.
thought of like, could it be mice still?
Oh, okay.
But
yeah.
I mean, we've had mice in the past, and you see them scurry off. I mean, sometimes they're not that quick. They're quick, but they're not that quick.
That's true.
So again, it was just really bizarre, and it was right after I was telling you about what's been going on in my house.
You're talking about the drawers and
The
stuff.
drawer, okay, so the dresser drawer in my room, like you can hear it open, but when I look over, it's not open. Yeah, it's a weird. Renee's looking at me like, wait, how do you explain that?
I'm like, how does that happen?
Yeah, it was really strange. And then there are times where I'll finish working on the show, an episode or reading about something paranormal.
Yeah.
3 o'clock in the morning rolls around. I'm thinking, hey, this is probably a good time to go to sleep now. And I can hear voices in my house. And it sounds like people are just chatting away, kind of like the Christmas party that we had years ago. And it just sounds like people are chatting
just
away and just having
natural conversation.
Yeah, and I've heard kids.
Yeah.
I've heard like a couple kids' voices talking. I've never heard anything running or like knocking things over, but I hear these voices, and I think, well, why are my kids up? In fact, last night, I was going to bed. It was about 3:45. And I swear, my kids' room, both of my kids sleep in the same room. And they have this door that is really kind of just like, it's coming off the hinges, so it drags against the door frame. Yeah, and the carpet. So from my room, when my kids get up, I can hear them get up. The door makes a certain noise. Last night, I heard that door make that noise. When I went to go check to see if they were okay, the door was still closed, and when I checked on them, they were fast asleep. So I don't know what is going on, but I am getting some very, to me, awesome, amazing paranormal activity in my home.
Awesome, amazing. I like
Yeah.
how you say that. Awesome, amazing.
Is it scary? Absolutely. Of course it's scary. It's 3-something in the morning when it happens. But it's really allowing me to think about what's going on right now. And I will, let me elaborate a little bit here. With this pandemic that has been happening, and everybody's been forced to stay home. And I know now, listener, when you hear this, you can be like, well, people are getting outside, stores opening up. That's fine. But you still have a lot of people that are staying home.
Yeah.
And we did that last episode 6.
Yeah.
We talked about, a recent report that came in saying that paranormal activity has started to rise. Really? So it makes me wonder if the spirits are really pushing to communicate with us because we've been gone for so long.
Yeah.
I mean, there's rumor that, the Queen Mary, a lot of activity has been happening over there because no one was around. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, the great thing is that spirits have a lot to say. They want to tell us something. They want to share something with us. And when we had this no one allowed to go out and do anything unless you had to, I imagine then that kind of irritated them because they don't get to speak out and say what they want to say.
Communicate, yeah.
Yeah. So, it blew my mind.
That's that's an interesting thing to look into.
Right?
Actually, yeah.
So that's something, listener, that we will be covering is the rise of paranormal activity that is been happening during this whole pandemic. And a couple things actually that we will be talking about. And Rene had a chance to actually check this out.
Yeah.
We have a new creepypasta that will be discussed later on in another episode.
Yeah.
But Rene, can you let the listener know, what did you find exactly?
So in this creepypasta, I found out that there is a Pokemon game that came out. It was Pokemon Red that came out in 1996 in a specific area in the game called the Lavender Town Syndrome.
Oh.
So in this, they say that in the level in the game, weird things happen either to you or to around you and stuff like that. We'll get more into it, but
okay,
that's what it is basically about. The Lavender Town Syndrome.
Oh,
that's what it's called.
I like that. That just might be the title of that episode.
Maybe, yeah.
That's fantastic. Well, I am looking forward to that. And listener, I know you're looking forward to that. Strange one. I know we just talked about this, but let's kind of go a little bit more because I know, again, you've been cooking up something rather bone chilling. In fact,
it was bones. It's bones.
It's bones. It's just bones.
It's bones. It's bones.
I'm making Jello.
And you've been putting in a lot of work actually, which is the shadow. The Shadow People episodes that will be happening. Is there anything else that you would like to let us know about the upcoming Shadow People episodes?
Well, I want to try to keep enough of a secret to you listeners so that I can leave you in suspense.
Dun dun dun.
However, besides what I already mentioned regarding my experience, at least in the past couple of weeks, with shadows in the night, I like that, shadows in the night.
Shadows in the night.
Sounds like a Prince song.
Is it?
I like how it just got like super dead silent.
Because we were thinking about it, I was like, wait, is there a song, Shadows in the Night?
Right now you're thinking, wait, did he come out with the
Dang
song?
it. Okay, now I got to go back and listen to all my Prince music again.
I'm just singing like ships in the night kind of thing. So what I like to do with the shadow episode and our topic is, of course, I have a couple of leads regarding shadow events that have happened. Of course, we have a couple of podcasters or YouTubers that we've had who've had experiences as well.
That's right. Yes,
I want to incorporate some of their stories when we can, and of course, again, if you listener have any experiences as well, I want to get everybody involved in this. Because as I mentioned, I want to do maybe a couple of episodes because it's a very deep topic for me. As I mentioned, I have experienced this type of thing throughout my life. Mm-hmm. I've only had one incident where I've had a full apparition, and it's not necessarily a shadow, but it's something that kind of sparked my interest in the topic. So that's kind of why I've always had an interest throughout my life, and why I've always seen this shadow and known from instinct that there's actually something there.
Yeah.
That it's not just my paranoia that something's lingering. So, so listener, this topic for me, it kind of hits home. So I will have some good intel, some good feedback for you. So I don't want to give you too much because I'm really excited to get to that topic and have a good talking point with our hosts here, G-Man and Rene.
Yeah.
So
it's funny you mentioned that when you do stuff like this, and it kind of allows you to go, okay, cool, I'm not crazy. We had a listener. Actually, we have a listener who enjoys the show immensely, and turns out she lived in a haunted house. The place that she stayed in with her and some roommates, she experienced quite a few things there. And when I got to talking with her about it, I kind of did my own personal investigation, just to ease her mind, to let her know that, hey, you're not crazy. This stuff really did happen to you. I took it upon myself to go and find the house and then talk to some people around the area, and what I found and what I learned was just amazing. So I probably will talk about that again. I'm not too sure, but it's definitely a great feeling to know that I keep seeing things or I keep hearing things, and then someone comes in and says, "Well, what you're experiencing is because of this, or the spirit is trying to tell you this," and it just makes you go, "God, that feels so good." Knowing that this whole time I've been thinking I'm going crazy, and then you have like a medium or a psychic or an investigator come in and tell you like this is really happening to you. It's such a great feeling. So yeah, definitely something that I'm looking forward to, and that I know the listeners looking forward to, talking about shadow people. Another thing that I know we're looking forward to is something that, back to Rene over here, that he got to look into. And I got to ask Rene, why do we like to go to haunted houses? Now, I know we had the whole fun with fear.
Yeah.
And that topic I loved because we got to see like how far is too far when it comes to it. But this is more going to be on like, why do we enjoy going to these haunted houses? And if you could just give us a small summary as to what you found.
So like for me, I've always loved being like scared or have that experience of just looking into something of unknown that you're not aware of.
Yeah.
It's just that feeling, because I think we all get that.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like it could be like scary movies, going on a roller coaster.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's just that
sensation.
Why do we do that? And so from what I've seen, it's, some people, they like to do it either because they're with a group of people and they like to have that security after and stuff like that. Or it could be just like you just love that jolt of shockiness because your day-to-day lives are not always like that.
It's like that stimulation of being scared just kind of wakes you up and like lets you know that you're still alive,
Yeah. So more to come, but that's
life isn't as hard as you think after an experience like this.
Yeah, and I want to look into like what's the most popular thing that people do to get scared and stuff like that. What's the most thing that people, or what's the most like least thing that people do, or what's the most craziest thing that people have done just to get a jolt.
Oh,
so that's what I'm going to look into.
That'll be fantastic. That'll be a lot of fun.
Great topic for conversation.
Yeah.
So something I wanted to actually relate to Rene, talking about haunted houses, goes back to my favorite Halloween convention that takes place in Long Beach, California. But did you know, gentlemen and listener, did you know that there is another Halloween convention happening in Orange County?
Really?
So let's. I don't know what that. I know, right? Like that just kind of fish hook. Okay.
Go for
So
it.
let's get right into this new Halloween attraction right after a word from our sponsor.
By Odin's beard, you would not believe the amazing findings at VikingJeans.com. From handcrafted jewelry to home decor to clothing and apparel from infants to adults, VikingJeans.com has something for the Norse fanatic in everyone. I, for one, have my eye on the great Yggdrasil handmade wooden watch. Looking to impress that special shield maiden? Why not stun her with Molnir, a handmade pendant and necklace? The beauty and craftsmanship that goes into each piece of art is as though each item was crafted by the gods themselves. Be sure to find yours at VikingJeans.com. That's VikingJeans.com.
The 2020 Creep It Real OC Expo, located at the Heritage Museum of Orange County. That's a lot to say in one sentence.
Yeah.
Say that 5 times fast.
Listener, if you could say that 5 times fast, we will send you a custom sticker brought to you by Into the Void. All right. So let me try that again. The 2020 Creep It Real OC Expo, located at the Heritage Museum of Orange County, will be exhibiting a variety of vendors selling Halloween-themed crafts, jewelry, fashion, collectibles, and original artwork. Also, they will be having a sampling of local home haunted houses and mazes, so visitors can get a little pre-season scare and map out their haunt hopping plans all over Orange County. Ooh, creepy.
I'm pretty excited about that too.
Actually, I'm glad you're excited, Strange One, because I am happy to announce that we'll be having one of the co-producers, Kevin Valentine, to talk to us more about Creep It Real OC. Yeah.
That's nice. It's good to know.
And also many of the frightfully fun and spooky attractions that will be taking place this September.
September.
That's right. September is when it's going to be going on.
That's like almost Halloween.
Right? Oh my God. David's going to be like, what the hell is going on?
What am I going to use? What do you want to use?
Wait, what do you want to cut and what do you want to keep? I have no idea at this point.
So, for more information on Creep It Real, visit their website at www.creepitrealoc.com. That's www.creepitrealoc.com. I can see Rene dancing over there.
I was like, did you say www?
I said www.creepitrealoc.com. And in case you didn't hear me, it's www.creepitrealoc.com. I wish there was a camera right now. We could see Renee's little dance to the advertisement of a website.
www.keepitrealoc.com.
Oh, God.
Please use that later.
Also, guys, I'm so glad we are in such a great mood because I'm also proud to announce that Midsummer Scream interview with Rick West will be happening.
Yes.
That's right. So we are going to sit down. We're going to talk with Rick. We're going to find out future endeavors for Midsummer Scream.
Yeah.
What's to happen? What are they doing now to entertain people as far as, vendors and everything? Cool. I know for a fact that they're doing live streams, talking with other vendors about, the situations that are going on right now.
Yeah.
From the pandemic to the protest. So that was weird. Pandemic to the protest. Anywho, but yeah.
Just 2 P's in a podcast.
2 P's in a podcast. That should be a new podcast.
That should be a new podcast.
2 P's in a, I think that is a podcast.
That's probably is a podcast already.
Protest and pandemic.
To look it up like the Prince song. So that's what's going to be happening in the future endeavors for our show, and I'm very happy about that.
Well, that sounds like a pretty good time. This whole season coming up.
Yeah. Now that we're officially back in studio, what's great is that not I anymore, but the team, we've been able to plan out a lot of things now and be able to do stuff to where we can go, look, we're back in studio. We're throwing these interviews in there. Let's get this done. Our listeners been waiting forever.
Yeah, it's getting bigger too.
And that's the thing that I have to say this again. I was not expecting this to be that big. Yeah. I thought, hey, let's just do a podcast. Let's talk about what we know.
It was mostly just for us, essentially.
Yeah, it was mainly just for us.
Just to put something out
so
there.
I'm glad that we're talking about this now because I want to talk about this.
Yeah.
Since this show has started, we have been getting people left and right acknowledging our voices.
I know.
And it's a little okay, so you. Rene, you said you had a
I had an experience here, not a paranormal experience, but a fan experience essentially. I had a customer come in and he basically was buying comics, looking around, and he was like, "Oh, this is really cool. Oh yeah." And then I hear him talking to his girlfriend. They're like, "Oh yeah, this is where they do it," and stuff like that. And I'm just like, "All right, I guess."
That's it right there. That's where they do the show.
He comes up to me and I'm ringing him up and he goes, he goes, "So this is a cool place you have." I'm like, "Thanks." He goes, "Yeah, this is where they film or record my favorite podcast here." And I was like, "Oh, really?" I'm like, "Which podcast is it?" He goes, "Into the Void." And I'm just like,
Crazy.
I was like, "Really?" He goes, "Wait a minute." And I'm talking to him, and he goes, "You're Rene." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm Rene, actually." He goes, "Where's G-Man?" I'm like, "He's doing his episodes at home right now, but we're going to go slowly come back. He's going to come back to the studio. We're going to come back and do more episodes for you guys." And he's like, "That's super cool." He goes, "I'm really excited to see what you guys put out." I'm like, "Oh, thank you. I'll let him know that you're a big fan." So,
Yeah, and G-Man, you had an experience similar to that, right?
Oh man, where do I start? Actually, is the
Start
question.
from the parking lot. That's where
Yeah, we'll start from the parking lot. Well, there's been quite a few incidents actually, and again, I'm not really like I don't know how to acknowledge this except for thank you if you happen to see me or Rene or a strange one, and you're acknowledging the show. Thank you for following with us.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in. Please be sure to tell anyone you know. We are extremely grateful to have these fans come up to us. So I donate plasma.
Yeah.
At this plasma center that I go to in Anaheim. We actually have mentioned them before. So if you guys go back and listen to like episode, I'm going to say 5 or 6 in season 1, we actually acknowledged the plasma center that I go to. Which, by the way, real quick, I just want to acknowledge that donating plasma is a very smart thing to do. It's a very intelligent thing to do because with this pandemic going on right now, you have a lot of patients that actually need plasma. Yeah. And plasma plays a very big role, especially with this virus right now. Yeah. So, listener, if you know someone or if you can do it yourself, go to your local plasma center, sign up, and donate.
Don't do it yourself, listener.
Yeah, don't do it yourself.
Take yourself to a facility that does this for you.
Yeah.
There are professionals that do this. So
this
please
is
remember
not yet
that.
a post-apocalyptic society where you need to start storing blood for yourself. So
exactly.
If you want a little incentive, you also get a little money out of it.
Well,
I mean,
but the true glory of it is knowing that you are saving a life. Yes, there's a little bit of money involved, but knowing that you're saving a life is, I personally feel, is much more gratifying.
And more than just one.
Yes, that's right.
that's
More
true.
than just one.
Yeah.
So I'm over there, and I when I go in, I just sit down, I do my thing, I relax, and there was a guy. He was on TikTok and he was looking at paranormal stuff. And I jokingly said, "Well, yeah, that's interesting. Have you ever heard of a paranormal podcast show called Into the Void?" And he goes, "Wait, yeah, that sounds familiar." And I was like, yeah, it's a pretty cool paranormal podcast. I just found it.
I love that.
I
Little
tried
product placement.
Yeah, I'm trying. The thing is, I don't want to be conceited. I don't want to be like, "Oh, well, listen to my podcast because I'm fantastic."
Oh, yes.
I'm not. I'm not. I'm just like everybody else in this world.
Pinky up the air. Listen to my podcast.
Pinky up and everything. So he checks it out. And the nursing staff there, they already know about the show. So they are kind of laughing over the fact that he's listening to it. And I just so happen to be right there next to him. And they are literally waiting to see if he's going to notice that that's me. Again, I just sit there and said, you know what? He's here. He's listening to the show. That's fine by me. It wasn't until I leave when the guy comes out and I'm going to my car and he's parked right next to me. And he's like, "Hey, man, thanks for suggesting that podcast. That's really cool." And I said, yeah. No problem. Here, you know what? Take one of the business cards that I have. And he goes, "Oh, wait. You're G-Man."
You're G-Man.
I start laughing, and I'm just, in my head, I'm like, took you a while. But you know what? The fact that he acknowledged it afterwards.
You could tell he actually did listen to the episode and stuff like that.
So the other time, I'm at Walmart.
You called me right after this.
I called you right after, Rene. I called you right after. So I'm at Walmart with my kids.
Yes.
And I figured, you know what? It's Friday. It's Toy Fun Friday. Let's go get a toy today. So get some grocery shopping done. I said, let's go pick up a toy. So we pick up a toy, and I walk past this couple who acknowledged my kids. They were like, "Oh, that's really cute." And I looked at them and I said, "Yeah, it's toy day. So we're picking out a toy." And they went, "Oh, that's so sweet." So we get our toy, we come back in line. Now they're already checking out. As soon as they're checking out, the husband turns around and he starts doing this pointing at me and the boys, but mainly starts hitting his wife on the arm. Not hitting her, but
getting her
tapping her.
attention.
Yeah, her
Hey,
attention.
hey.
And she kind of does the whole "What, sweetie?" And he goes, I think, and he's pointing towards me, and I'm just like, did something happen?
Yeah, did I
you know?
do-
And I'll say it was a little unsettling because of everything that's going on.
That's
it
true,
was a little
yeah.
unsettling that someone would point you out like that. So he leaves the store. I check out. As I'm checking out, he and his wife are right there waiting for me to come out. And I'm thinking, well, this is it. Something's going to happen, and my kids have to witness this. So he says to me, I'm so sorry. I don't mean to take up your time. I know you're busy with your kids. But I have to ask you, are you G-Man? Now, mind you, we're wearing masks. Everyone's wearing masks and everything. So I'm thinking to myself, how in the world does he even realize that's me? It wasn't until he pointed at the shirt that I'm wearing, which just so happened to be from one of our other sponsors. And I went, oh, that's right. Because I talk about the shirt, I talk about the product. And so therefore, okay, cool. So he just says, I love the show. You guys are hilarious. It's a lot of fun. He said the Black Eyed Children's episode was creepy, which we've been getting that a lot.
Yeah.
So I just said, you know what? Thank you so much for following with us. Thanks for being a fan of the show. And I said, I will mention this if you don't mind. So, to the man and his wife, thank you so much for pointing me out in Walmart. That was weird. But yeah, so it's been happening quite a bit. And
That's really
they even
cool.
asked about you, Rene.
Yeah,
they even asked about you. And they were like, where's Rene at? And I was like, I said, he's probably back at the studio. No, and then he said, what was his joke? His joke was,
he said something into
he was like, oh, okay. I thought maybe he was trapped in the void or something. So I will say this. If and when we are in studio and you just so happen to be in Uptown Whittier and it's a Saturday, come down to the comic book shop, buy a comic book, support your local businesses, and also come up to the window and say hi. Yeah. We'll acknowledge you. We'll say hi. If we're doing a show and we don't say anything, it's not that we don't like you. It's just that we're busy, But I will say this, and this is something new. This is something that I have not told the team yet.
Uh-oh. So should I take off my headphones?
If you are in Uptown Whittier and we just so happen to be doing the show, now if you follow us on Instagram and social media and all that, you'll know when we're going to be here. If you are here and you see G-Man, the Strange One, or Rene, we will give you a free custom-made sticker. That's right. If you see one of us, we will give you a free custom-made sticker. And I know I'm probably going to get a lot of crap from one of our team members, Nicole. It's not free. I know it's not free. These are custom-made stickers, but
cost money.
It costs money. So just letting you know, if you see me, myself, G-Man, or if you see Rene, or if you see the Strange One, we will give you a sticker as long as you acknowledge the show. Let us know that you follow the show. Show us that you follow the show, and we will give you a custom-made Into the Void sticker.
Yeah, I'm gonna start carrying them with me.
Yeah, that is my thing because we've been running into a lot of fans.
Yeah,
and I always feel bad because I don't have a business card. I don't have any stickers, and I'm like, I got to give you something. So
a sticker business card.
A sticker business card. Yeah,
I had that idea. Remember?
That's right.
About that.
So
like, here's a card. It's also a sticker.
So that's my thing about it. I'm glad that we have fans. I am extremely grateful for our fans and our Patreon members. And it's something that I'm glad we got to talk about.
Yeah.
It's great. It's weird.
It's weird because it's new.
Yeah, it's weird that people acknowledge.
It's happened to me once before, but that was like an early podcast that I did. I did it for like a couple of years, and I just kind of stopped doing that one. But then I got recognized maybe once or twice on that one.
Okay.
So this is not the first time it's happened to me, but I'm glad it's happening for your podcast.
Yeah, this is, you know what though, but and again, I'm so glad that we have Rene and we have the Strange One, and there's some people that can't be here today, which is David, our audio editor, and then we also have Nicole. She handles our YouTube channel. Oh, wow. She's been editing and putting all these videos together to be able to share each episode on there. So she's been doing a fantastic job with that.
Yep, doing great, Nicole.
Yeah,
David.
Oh yeah, they are fantastic. So it's great. The whole thing is great. I'm having so much fun with this. Strange One, is there anything else you'd like to mention or talk about before we conclude the show?
Nothing in particular we're not already going to be discussing in further shows. So I'm just excited to get rolling and get back to you with more content, more details. I'm fairly detail oriented listener, so you'll start to realize that with me. Like, man, he just talks a lot about this. Like, he knows. Like, no, I just do my research because I like to be knowledgeable whenever I'm speaking about something.
Absolutely,
you can't argue a point if you don't know what's going on.
Exactly. And Rene, anything you'd like to throw out there. I'm sorry. I remind me again. Where can we find your podcast?
Oh, so my podcast is available on Podbeam. So it's www.keepingupwiththenerds.com. You can also just find us on Spotify. You can also find us on YouTube, and that's pretty much it. So just follow the show at Keeping Up with the Nerds Variety Hour.
Awesome.
I want to follow the nerd. I mean, it sounds like
Right? That's a great title. I love it.
Hail, thine old father, for only he can supply such jewelry, watches, axes, and apparel as one would find at VikingJeans.com. Find Viking styles for all members of your family. Lo, do they have styles for thine father? Lo, do they have styles for thine mother? Lo, they have styles for thy brother and sister too. Viking Jeans has the Norse wear for you and yours. So before riding into battle alongside the Valkyries and the mighty Thor with his trusted hammer Mjolnir, be sure to visit VikingJeans.com. That's VikingJeans.com.
Well, that's going to do it for us here on another episode of Into the Void. If you enjoyed what you heard here, then head on over and visit our social media pages such as Instagram at Void Podcast 18, Facebook at Pod Paranormal 87, Twitter at Nightwing Silver, and remember, you too can get yourself a sweet custom-made Into the Void sticker by joining our Patreon. Just go to patreon.com/Into the Void. That's patreon.com/Into the Void. Your support helps fuel this show and its future endeavors. Also, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment to our YouTube channel. Just search Into the Void Podcast. Lastly, a big, huge thank you to our sponsor for this episode, Viking Jean. Amazing, amazing stuff they have on there. The product is beautiful. The jewelry is amazing. And if you have not had a chance, check out their amazing watch that they have there. It is. Strange One has been looking at it and telling me how much he wants it. And I'm like,
want it.
Christmas present. If you get a chance, go to Viking Jeans, check them out. And with that, I think that's going to do it for me. I'm G-Man, and I want to thank you for falling with me into the void.